Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 25th episode of Visioncon Spotlight, your in-depth look at the nerds you love. I'm your host, Zach Wilson, but you didn't come here to see me today. You came to meet the man of the hour. He's a content creator, comedian, and the host with the most. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one, the only, Josh Morales of JantmorTV. Josh, how are we doing today?
Oh my God, that gave me goosebumps. I'm really happy and excited. And this is like really like a dream come true, like to be real, because like I really watch all of y'all's stuff. Like I watch what you do, and you do a really good job. I've watched your interview with Michael Yurchuk like probably like 20 times to get ready to interview him. Like I watched that back to back to back, and then I watched some with Neil Kaplan back to back to back just to get ready. Like I watch y'all stuff to get ready, so this is really an honor. So thank you for inviting me.
Man, that means so much to me. Especially, it's going to be a little weird transition though, because I was actually, the next thing I was going to tell you is, Josh, I am green with jealous rage over you because there is a finite amount of people in this world that can pull off a hat. I am not one of them, even though I desperately wish I could be. But you pull the absolute hell off that hat.
Thank you. You know, the funny thing is I did this for, what was the hat for? It was my senior pictures because we had to take senior pictures, and I was just like, oh damn, my hair's not done because I was going to talk to I think it was James C. Burns who plays Frank Woods in Call of Duty, really good friend of mine. I went on his stream. I was like, fuck, my hair isn't done. So I go. Sorry if I can't curse or whatever, but I go onto his show, and he's like, hey, Josh, that hat looks really nice on you. I was like, okay, and then I just went with it. So now I've worn it. I wear it whenever I get the chance. I don't wear it a lot. I try not to wear it a lot because the hair must be seen. But I like it to look as professional as I can. So,
well, hats and interviews aside, so Josh, let's go jump right into it. So, yes, we have essentially and largely the same job, but I am betting that we had a different way of getting about to where we are today. So, for me and the folks watching at home right now, how did you get into the interviewing and content creation game?
That's really good. So I'm gonna split. Oh, okay. I was like, what's going on? So we're gonna split this into two parts. They say content creator interviewing. So content creating started with YouTube. I wanted to make math videos for my class because I wanted school clout. I was like, okay, school clout. I'm gonna show my math teachers this, and then I showed it to my math teachers, and they loved it. I was like, let's go! I can really do this. And then they never showed it to the class, so I was like, what? I was so mad. And then my teacher was like, I'll never forget. My teacher was like, oh, we'll show it tomorrow, and then tomorrow came, and it was never shown. But I stepped away from my YouTube for a little bit. Y'all could go to my first video. It's really cringy. I walk up to the song to a Justin Bieber song, and I walk up the stairs as my intro. It is so corny. My intro's changed a lot. Shout out to my homie Fat Mike who really made my intro, and I really appreciate him. Really great friend of mine. But to the interviews thing, it really started last year, 2020, when the pandemic hit, and you know, it started with my love of Linkin Park. I'm a huge Linkin Park fan. As you can see, I have like, let me turn it a little bit. I have like Linkin Park memorabilia over here. I could go into my room and I have a box set that costs like $200. Like I love Linkin Park so much. It was a gift given to me. And Chester Bennington, of course, passed away in 2017. And his first band, Gray Days, I should have gave you my first thing I ever did to show up there. But my first interview I did was with Chester's first ever bass player, because he was a part of the band Gray Days, and that was his first ever band. And they made a posthumous album called Amends, which released, of course, in June. And I really wanted to interview them because, like I said, he was like a Park fan. And for Mace, I was like, I really think this was destiny. Sorry if I'm all over the place, but I just really think this was destined for me because it was the most randomest thought, like freaking ever. It was so random. I was like, Josh, you should ask to interview the bandmates. I was like, they're going to say no. What? They're going to say no. But to my surprise, I was like, hey, can I like speak to you guys? And they were like, oh, well, we already released videos. And that's why I wanted to speak to them, because they were like releasing videos of the album making process for Amends. And I was like, oh, gosh, I guess not. And I was like, well, I wasn't thinking of like making a video. I was thinking of interviewing them. And they were like, okay, sure. Here's Mace Byers. I love freaking love Mace Byers, an amazing bass player, first person I ever interviewed, and is such a cool guy. I love him, and that was the first interview I did. First interview I ever did was really bad. Even though I really started, it was not the greatest, and I've really grown a lot, and I'm glad that I have. But I interviewed Mason. Originally, the plan for Jam Interviews, it wasn't even called Jam Interviews, which is crazy. I didn't brand this or anything. It was just like interviewing. Like, the crazy thing is, my first interview ever called was just interviewing amends, like greatest amends, because I was like, oh well, I'm only interviewing the 3 bandmates. And people told me, like, Josh, you really have a knack for this. You should really keep going for it. And I was like, okay, this isn't gonna last long. But to my surprise, I'm like at 60 plus interviews now. Like, I've interviewed like some of the people showed. Steve Bloom was a freaking dream come true. I never thought that would happen. And when that happened, I was pinching myself. I really thought it was a prank. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I thought it was a prank. I thought someone was playing a sick joke on me. I was like, Steve Bloom didn't say that. I'm gonna go whatever. And then I was just there's like a little thing at the bottom, and I was like, wait, this is him. That's him. I called my friend, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it's just, I interviewed Steve Bloom, Samote, which is the R&B artist he posted with me at the bottom, and my background has changed, even like having a Tashi poster and stuff. Like, a lot has changed, so it's just been a really fun and amazing journey. So yeah,
I'll tell you, for the Steve Bloom one, 90% of me was like super stoked for you. This is huge, so happy for you in your career. There was that 10% where it was deep down inside of me. I was like, oh, you son of a bitch.
No, listen, I'm not even gonna lie to you, because I look at a lot of the guests you have and I'm like, damn, this is great. Oh my God. But then I'm like, oh, damn it. Why didn't he say yeah? But yeah, no, that was a good one. So nervous. I was gonna throw up. I was really gonna throw up. I was so scared. I was like, what is this gonna be like? But yeah, it was good, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah.
Well, and something that separates you from many YouTube interviewers, myself included, is that you create this content, be it comedic sketches, reviews on YouTube videos, or on your YouTube rather, the reviews on music, stuff like that. So where did the inspiration to kind of combine these two worlds come from?
That's a good question. Because I don't even really know. But the thing about skits was like I said, interviewing was never what I really wanted to do. Like, honestly, like I said, I thought I was just gonna interview the 3 bandmates, and I was done forever, kaput. And I was just gonna keep making skits, because skits was what I always did. Like, I always based my account off of doing skits. And my whole YouTube channel, when I rebranded, because I stopped doing YouTube for like, I want to say like 3 or 4 years, and then I came back in like 2018 when Legion Season 2 dropped. That was my first ever YouTube video back, because I just love talking. I love my opinions. I'm a big talker. I try to talk as much as I can, even though sometimes I'm a little shy at school. But I do love to talk, and I love to crack jokes and just make an impression on people and just be as funny and as kind as I can, because that goes a long way. But the skits thing, I always wanted to make skits. The reviews, I love to talk. Can't shut me up, and even though I try, but even though you could try, but yeah, I feel like I put equal energy into everything. You know what I mean? Like, I put enough energy in my skits to make it creative and make the punchline hit. Or with interviews, I try and like write the questions and make sure they're out, and like make the video outline and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just put a lot of equal energy into everything I do. So yeah.
Yeah, and it certainly shows by your work. And real quick, so what can viewers expect? The ones that are watching right now that, are interested about you, obviously fell in love with you, and want to check out some of your stuff. What are some of the things that they can expect when they view either the Instagram lives where you do a lot of these interviews, or if they visit your YouTube channel?
When it comes to my YouTube, what you can expect is just, there it is right there. Well, for my YouTube, there's just like a lot of interviews. And even though I love doing interviews, I gotta edit that thumbnail for the Ronald M. Banks one. You made me think you showed me that. I gotta edit that thumbnail. But I'm really trying to do a lot of reviews more. As you can see, like, I reviewed Zack Snyder's trailer. I just do there's a lot of content here. I'm gonna try and branch out and do a lot more on my channel, because there's just like so much that I do. And I feel like there's a lot, as you can see, there's a lot of interviews. And even though I love doing interviews, I don't want my account to be solely interview based, if that makes sense. Because I love skits, I love reviews, I love, even you can see my short film that I worked on in like November of last year. Like, I love making content. So you can just expect a lot of variation of stuff. My music is there that I made poorly and that I'm going to redo someday when I rewrite the lyrics and stuff. But I've done a lot. And I just want to diversify and make new stuff. So yeah, you can just see my short films, my skits, interviews, of course, and reviews. So yeah.
On the note of Chris Angeli, real quick, just because it spread mind, I was watching that one on my phone the other day, and I will give credit where credit's due, because I interviewed Chris Angeli as well. It was for last year's virtual Visioncon, and I'll be honest with you, your interview with Chris Angeli much better than mine. I believe at one point there I commented, because I was nervous because I was still relatively new to this game. Like, I had interviewed guests in person quite often, leading up to this point, because that's what I do for a living, is MC stuff. But doing virtual interviews, I had something new to me, and Chris Angeli was someone I looked up to a lot. Anyway, my point being is, I believe at one point I commented and told him that he looked more jacked than I expected him to. Out of nervousness. Yeah, he rolled with the punches with that one, but God, do I wish I could like put my foot in my mouth. Oh my God.
No, listen, don't even do that to yourself, man. Like, cause I've done that so many times before, where I've just like been so nervous or I freaked up or I said something, especially like really early on. There's a lot of ums, and even though I still deal with like the ums and pauses, it was really bad when I first started. With, I believe it was Royce Johnson, who played the detective in an amazing Daredevil TV show. I watched that show, rewatched the show tons of times. But sorry if you hear anything in the background. But Royce Johnson, I was so nervous. I was like, because I was a fan of his. Like, he did such a good job in Daredevil, and I was like, how was you today? And I was like, like you could hear it like a little child, like, and so like it's really. I know we're going to talk about this later on, but for people who want to do this, like, don't beat yourself up too much. Like, you're going to grow and you're going to definitely get better. Like, really, like, you're going to get better, because if you, like I said, if you watch me from where I began to now, you be like, damn, this is a whole different person. Who is this? Who is this man who is inhabiting Josh's body? Because I'm a whole different person now. So you're going to grow and you're going to get better, and you're going to find what works for you. And of course, you're going to take inspiration for a lot of stuff. And we're going to get more into how I structure, I assume, my interviews and stuff like that. But I've taken a lot of inspiration from people on how to make my platform better. People just give me like notes and tips and tricks and stuff like that. And I try to pass that on to my other friends who want to get into this, who I see who are, I wouldn't say struggling, but who are new to this, who are relatively new and aren't doing what I would say is the best in my opinion. And I give them that advice, and they take it in strides, and I'm like, there you go, boy, like, it's like a proud, it's like a proud, a parent moment, even though I'm like 18 years old. But
before we get to that next segment, I did want to reiterate something though, Chris. If you are watching this, it is partly not my fault though. I mean, you look like you could bench press a dump truck.
Listen, yes, that is true. Chris is a really good friend. I talk to him whenever I can. He's really, really nice, very supportive, and he's really very funny dude. So yeah, I'll probably send this to him and I'll tell him that I was on. He's probably gonna be like, I remember that kid said I was jacked.
I remember that guy said I was jacked. Well, to round us off, Josh, so for the viewers watching at home that want to get into content creation or interviews or both in your case, what kind of advice would you give viewers that are kind of going into this route? Maybe some advice that you wish you had when you first started out.
Oof, that's a really good one. Never give up. I know it's corny. People gonna be like, oh, Josh, here he comes. But it's really true. Like, don't give up, because there's times where I really wanted to quit interviewing and just quit doing content in general. I remember when I tried to set up an interview with, I think it was James Arnold Taylor. I reached out to like his agents, and they were just like really rude and passive away. And they were just like, ugh. And like one of them hung up on me when I was trying to talk. It was like really like I was so hurt. and I think I got the wrong ages or something, but they hung up on me before I could even speak. And I remember I was on the phone with another agency trying to set up another interview. And when I was on the phone, I could like audibly hear them laughing at me. So like, you're gonna get stuff like that. And you're gonna get times when people say no. For the Steve Bloom interview, it came at literally the perfect time because everyone was saying no to me. Like everyone I reached out to interview said no. And that was like taking an effect on me, like a lot. And it's not personal. I've learned that too, you know, because these people are busy. They're in this entertainment industry and they gotta do what they gotta do to make their bread and do what they gotta do to make it big in this industry. It takes a lot of work to get into this, trust me, because there's some people who I've spoken to who are like still trying to make it, still on the grind, and are very busy people who I try and stay in touch with. But you know, how people react to you, another thing, how people react to you isn't representative of your content. So let's say like a lot of people say no to you, it's not because you're bad, it's because they're busy or doing something. Like, so don't take it personally. And that's just one thing I really want to hit home with, is do not take it personally when they say no, or they're like mean or grouchy to you. It's just them. It's not you at all. You're perfect. You're amazing. You're putting the work in. You're doing what you got to do. There's going to be a lot of uphill battles. Trust me. I deal with them every day. Oh, I get so mad when my interviews don't get enough views, or my skits don't get enough likes or shares and passes around. Or sometimes my account hits like a dead day when not a lot of my followers are active, you know, and there are going to be times like that. But if you stick with it, I promise you're going to be so big. You're going to be like bigger than like ever. Like my goal is, well, I have two goals. Troy Baker is like my inspiration for what I do. And one goal is to interview him. Let's go for that. Fingers crossed. And my second goal is to be bigger than Troy Baker. Now people are gonna be like, "Whoa, what's wrong with you, Josh? I don't mean that like disrespectfully or like, oh, my ego is big. I mean that as like, he has done so much. He's a voice actor. He does music. He runs a podcast himself. And that's what I want to do. I want to be an actor, a musician, and a podcaster all at the same time. And I want to make it big in this industry. And when I say bigger than Troy Baker, I mean that in most respect. Honestly, I will never be bigger than Troy Baker. Like, he is top of the top, you know, the creme de la creme. So I don't think he'll be bigger than him.
I mean, even gods may fall,
you know. But you know, yeah, but I Troy Baker is someone to take a lot of inspiration for in this field, and he even wears little fedora.
You guys got that going on. You're already part way there.
So yeah, but and also don't compare yourself. I struggled with this so much in the beginning. I would compare myself to a lot of content creators, and that would affect my content a lot. Because I try to be like someone else. And what you bring to the table is what makes you unique and what makes your content freaking amazing and better than the rest, because you bring your uniqueness to it. Don't let someone else make you feel like you have to copy a formula. Make your own formula. Like for my interviews, I used to be so simple, but now it's like it follows a formula and a pattern. Like I play a game at the end. I tell people the cool things that they probably didn't know about them in the beginning. Like I formulate it in a way where it's different from the West, or I add things into it that are way different than others. So try to experiment, and you know, you're gonna find where you fit in and the content that's right for you. So yeah.
All right. Well, then, to round us out, Josh, before we end up this episode, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the plug zone. Josh Morales, now is your opportunity to plug, promote, advertise, whatever verb you want to use, anything you want. The floor is yours, sir.
All right, thank you. Well, before I get into that, I just like to say this is really cool. Thank you so much. Like I said, huge fan of yours. I really freaked out when you said I could come on. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. He's a dream come true. It's really cool. My first ever interview too, so this is really awesome. And just more success to you, man. So I want to plug your page as well. And I'm definitely, like I said, I'm definitely sharing this when you post it. I'm posting this everywhere.
You're so sweet.
Gonna be very historic for me, but a lot of historic stuff is happening next week. This interview will probably be going up around that time, and then my birthday is the 23rd, and then I graduate on the 28th. My gosh, a lot is happening in the span of a few weeks. But you can find me on Twitter and YouTube at JantmorTV. And you can find me on my Instagram at JantmorTV. And I would love to have you guys over there. We have a nice community, and I would love for you to join us. So yeah, that's all I got. And my short film that I'm working on should be releasing around the time of my birthday. So the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th. I still got to set that in date. Me and my friends are still shooting. But other than that, yeah.
All right, and I've got all of those links down in the description box below, guys, you guys to check out. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 24 of Visioncon Spotlight. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, as always, I'm your host, Zach Wilson, but much more importantly, this has been my very special guest, Josh Morales. Make sure to check out all the links down in the description box below, guys. And until next time, guys, always remember that life's better when you have friends to share it with.